We've been doing a lot of firefighting recently, haven't we? We've been standing in the street with our buckets next to the standpipe, filling it up with water and throwing it at the government, who's been shoving fire in our faces. Fire of all these unwanted things that we've never asked for, that we seem to be getting by default. I'm talking about things like the digital IDs, in which all your information will be stored in one central computer, so that at any department of the government they can access all your information, not just enough to identify you, but everything you've ever done or anything that you've submitted to them, including your health records. Now, all of that stored into one place might sound like a good idea, because it means anybody can quickly help you get online and answer questions and all of that, but it means that anybody, even third-party companies, can look at your data, or even somebody who's able to hack into this central computer can also look at your data. I'm not sure it's really such the good idea that they're making out it to be. It seems beneficial more for them than for us. And then, of course, there's this new banking system that we've been told will be coming online, and we've got no choice for it, the central bank digital currency, in which all the old-fashioned money, cash, will disappear. And cash, you know, being a private transaction, someone selling something, you want to buy it, you buy it in cash, nobody need know. It's nobody else's business. You sell something, nobody need know. If they're giving it in cash, you've got the cash, shove it in your pocket. It's a private transaction. It's lovely. But with the central bank digital currency, this is the opportunity for banks, or people looking at your bank details, possibly the government, of course, can have a look and say, oh, look, he's been buying this and he's been buying that. And at the time of purchase, they can put a social score against you, so that if you've said something online, perhaps, or you've bought too many meat pies, or you've travelled too far and the government feel, oh, we don't want you travelling, they can actually, by programming the money, mean that you can't go and fill up at a petrol pump or an electric charging pump or buy some food from a supermarket, that they can create havoc for you and control your money. I'm not sure that that is a very good idea either. So another bucket of water goes towards them. Thank you very much. Then we've got the 15-minute cities that we've been seeing, with all the monitoring and the fact that if you travel more than so many times across town, you're going to make an infringement, and then you'll get penalised and charged, and that's the idea, is to try and stop you from using your cars too many times. And it strikes me that if you wanted to stop people using their cars in the town and drive about a bit, instead of building barriers and putting in cameras to charge you and penalise you every 2 minutes, why not incentivise you to be there by putting more of the amenities and the good things that you would want people to have in those cities? So that instead of the stick, put more of the carrot. But no, the government want to beat you and stop you. And in fact, they just want to take away your car, because, of course, there's the myth of the global warming, and hence we have the ridiculous notion of net zero. Again, something that very, very few people have asked for. And it seems to be an impossibility that will actually get to the getting rid of carbon dioxide, the gas of life, by the way, which is what keeps the plants alive, and food, which we need. And talking of food, of course, we've now been told we're going to have bugs and insects in our foods, probably in the processed foods, probably with a label that we don't understand what it is. And so we're going to be eating this not quite so nice food that we never asked for. And again, that's something that's being thrust down at us. The precision gene engineering of animals, precision breeding, I think it's called. Again, a way in which the natural way of doing things is being superseded by technology, all for our benefit, of course, but I'm not quite sure how healthy that will be, both for the animals or indeed for us humans. So again, another bucket of water we're trying to fend off, because these people are chucking so much down at us. Meanwhile, we're being scared, left, right and centre, with this avian bird flu that is supposedly coming about. And we won't be able to go into the countryside for fear of getting ticks and being bitten or licked at by some fox or a stoat or a badger or any of these things. So again, another excuse to keep us in these 15-minute cities. So it's another bit of firefighting that we've had to do. And there's all of this keeps on coming, keeping us down. Now, it struck me that all these things, and a load more, no doubt, that I've forgotten to mention, AI, for example, in which that may well be a bit of a problem for people because so much will be automated, people being taken out of their jobs and not knowing what's real and what's not real. But anyway, my point really of this video is to say that whilst we're distracted by all these different things and people are signing petitions and they're trying to prevent the cameras from going up, or they don't want the barriers, or they want to get into the countryside, or they don't want to have the mandated medicine to stop you from getting bird flu, all these distractions really are there to stop us thinking about actually what we do want. Because it strikes me that actually, the reason that all these things are coming at us all at once is because there is the opportunity to get shot of all these nasty people, the government and the people who are pulling the strings behind the government, who want to control us and take away our sovereignty, that actually they're in the dying throes and they're throwing out all these horrible things to distract us and hope that we won't notice that they're actually dying and they can't keep it all up. And that this dystopian future has an opportunity that we don't actually have to accept it. And how we don't accept it, of course, is if we know what we actually want. What is our future? I think that these distractions are stopping us from thinking about what we really want now, and that we should start to plan for what we really want. The government has shown its evil face for what it is. This tyrannical government making decisions and saying you're going to have it, there's no other way around it, and we don't want that. We've seen that the two-party system really doesn't work, does it not? There's only a fag paper difference between the two parties, and when it comes to voting in this country, in England and Wales and Scotland, in the UK, we really won't have much of a choice. It doesn't matter who you vote for, you're still going to be voting for a dystopian future. So that seems a pointless exercise in and of itself, and I'm not going to be bothering to take part in any of it. In fact, the government, to me, are completely irrelevant. I think what we should be doing much more is thinking about what we actually want. How do we want society to be run? We need to take back that responsibility and think, instead of deferring all that responsibility to the government and to the councils so that they become our parents and that we have become basically small children, almost unable to do anything, we need to take that power back and say, actually, do you know what? You don't need to worry about looking after us. We're going to do it ourselves. How do we want government run? How do we want to work out things? How do we want criminal courts and cases like that run? Do we want it run the way it is in magistrates' courts with everything against us, 12 presumptions and things like that? Or do we want to retain our sovereignty? Do we want trial by jury? Do we want 12 just men thinking about not only whether somebody is a criminal or not, but whether the laws work or not, whether the laws have been set up to help us or hinder us? Are they there just to be money-making things for bankers? How do we want our banks to work? Do we want a better currency that's not based on debt, but actually based on credit, perhaps the credit of the nation, based on people's skills, the incentive for people to work hard and to have a good community? Could we have a currency that's based on that? What about our schools? Do we really want to send our children to institutions in which they're really trying to make the children into obedient slaves as yes men? Yes, I will pay my taxes. Yes, I will get a job and work really hard for no money. Yes, I won't be able to have critical thinking. Do we really want that? Or do we want to have places of learning that is much more beneficial for society and less for the government? These are just questions that I'm asking. How have we thought about the future that we really want? How do we want our police service to be? Do we want them as a police force dressed up in almost black military fatigues, going around basically issuing tickets to try and earn money left, right and centre? Or do we want them as a service that will help us and look after us in our times of need when we have crimes being happened? Do we want them to solve those crimes and keep the bad guys away? Or do we want them to continually check our thinking or dress in rainbow costumes online and have a sort of wokey agenda. What do we want our police service to be like? I think, need to start seriously thinking about what is it we want, because I think the dam of us locked up in this basic prison cell that we've been put in over the last 30, 40 years is breaking, that there are cracks in the dam, and we're fighting all these distractions. But what we should be thinking about is, never mind those distractions, take back the control, form our own councils. The councils seem to be full of people who, again, are just implementing what the government want, part of a tyrannical system. Maybe we need to get shot of those altogether and become our own councils, to become our own laws, to take back the sovereignty of our own personal places in this world. That's maybe what we should be doing. I don't know. I'm just asking questions. These are just my opinions. That when we've finished the firefighting, what have we got in place? We don't want just one man for himself and everybody trying to cope and chaos. Some sort of order. And maybe it's time now, whilst we still have a chance, to plan for what we actually want, rather than continually saying what we don't want. Happy Easter.